in Los Angeles, California, criminal defense attorney Lara Yeretsian. Lara, what did we just see there? Did we see a criminal defendant or did we see an actor make a dramatic exit? What was that? Seriously, because the way he comports himself, I almost feel at times like he's playing a role.
You know, it sure did seem that way. I mean, I almost felt like I was watching this reality TV show, the drama and the screaming, all of it. But at the same time, as a criminal defense attorney, I can see why a defendant who's just been sentenced to time, when most people would not have been sentenced to time in a case like this, would react the way he did. He, despite what you, putting aside what you think about this case, putting aside about what you think about his testimony on the stand, whether he perjured himself, he didn't perjure himself, the damages involved, the premeditation that the judge focused on, all these aggravating circumstances that you're talking about. At the end of the day, basically, he lied to the cops, and the cops kind of went, you know, overboard with their $130,000 worth of investigation. You don't see that in the typical case. There was nothing typical about this case.
But wait, Lara, let's put a little perspective on it. Don't you think that this was an attempt to almost embarrass the Chicago police, that there could be some sort of a hate crime and you guys aren't going to be able to solve it, and this is happening right here in the streets of Chicago? There was a lot at stake. He went on to GMA immediately to make this a national story. So how this this lowest level felony in Illinois becomes such a big case is because of him. It's not really because of who he is, because before this, honestly, I never watched the show. I didn't know who he was. And there's a lot of people who didn't know who he was. There's millions that did know him beforehand. But there were many millions more that know him from this and never knew him from the show. And everything that happened was brought on to him because of his own actions.
In some ways, yes, a lot of it was brought on to him, just like the judge said. He did more damage to himself than anything else could have done to him. But does that necessarily justify the amount of hours put in by the police department? Did they not have any other crimes out there? Were there any murders? I mean, we're talking about one crime. Wait a minute. Wait right there.
Time out. I'm going to defend the police for just a second here, because I know all three of you will gang up on the cops. I know you will. So a hate crime occurs to a celebrity in the streets of Chicago. He's got a noose around his neck, and you don't want Chicago to really investigate it? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, we don't have to worry about this. And then if they didn't investigate it, what would the headline be? What would the headline be?
They were investigating. But wait a minute, Vinny. They were investigating.
You're attacking Chicago for solving the case.
But they went overboard, which means they were giving him special treatment. Is that what they were doing? So if this was someone else, not Jussie Smollett.
No, I think it was the hate crime that made it. It was the hate crime aspect of it, I think, that gave it the attention. With the hate crime, right? Would it have gotten this kind of attention if it wasn't Jussie Smollett? Absolutely. If the hate crime, absolutely. Come on, anyone. If anyone who's got a noose around their neck and was attacked by people wearing MAGA hats, saying this is MAGA country. Renee Hill, are you with me or are you with Lara on this? That the celebrity didn't matter. It was the story. It was the allegation that made this so huge.
No, I think the celebrity did matter, Vinny. I really do.
Before we run out of time, Lara, you have the last 25 seconds. Go ahead.
Well, I thought that the judge was acting more like a psychoanalyst or a psychologist at some point, because he was trying to figure out, and it's not for him to sit and figure out why this particular defendant committed the crime that he's alleged to have committed. And he was trying to figure out, you know, I thought it through, and this is why, you know, that I thought he went overboard. I think everybody in this case, I agree with the rest of the panelists here, that everybody, all the parties involved went overboard on this case. This case, had it not involved the celebrity and possibly some of the facts involved, it would not have gotten this kind of attention and would have never had this kind of drama at all. And we would have never had this kind of a sentence. He probably would have just been placed on probation.
Renee Hill, Molly Palmer, Lara Yeretsian, thank you so much.